Hey, Brendan here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. We're going to be talking 2026 wide receivers in this video today. We're pretty excited about the draft class. I want to be joined by Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co-host. Not only are we scouting the 2025 players for you, helping you get ready for your rookie drafts, but we're also always taking a sneak peek to the future. And I think Jason and I are on the same page that the 2026 wide receiver class is going to be pretty good. We're going to give you 6 names today, 6 players that we're excited about that you'll be drafting, not in your 2025 rookie drafts, but in your 2026 rookie drafts. So if you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 15,000 subscribers by the NFL draft. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. All right, Jason, let's get to our 2026 My Guys, right? We decided that we wanted to start looking into the future a little bit. 2026 My Guys, we're going to make this our wide receiver edition. All right. Now, we've made one little, exception to the rule. You were going to talk about a 2027 prospect that I know you're super excited about for the most part, but we're going to talk about 3 wide receivers in the 2026 draft class that we are excited about, that you need to know about, that you should be circling these names. These are our guys that we're excited about. We're going to do all sorts of summer scouting on them as we continue through the spring and summer. But it's never too early to look into the future for your future rookie drafts out there. So I'm going to kick us off here, and I'm going to talk about my first 2026 wide receiver that I'm continuing to pound the table for, and I didn't get to see him play this past year, and that is Mr. Nick Anderson. All right. Now, back in 2023, he had basically a breakout year with 798 yards, 21 average depth, of his catches and 10 touchdowns. And unfortunately, he got hurt this year in 2024, and we didn't get to see him play. But with the transfer portal madness that is going on out there, he is now transferred to LSU, and that's got me pretty excited because I know Nussmeier is going to be sticking around. And if Kyron Lacy is off to the NFL, which we expect. And, there's Chris Hilton Jr. and a couple other guys there that could emerge. I mean, Nick Anderson has the opportunity to really increase his draft stock. And I think there was some early talk of him being an NFL draft. I think he was eligible this year, but with the injury, it's a good decision to come back and put some more, tape out there for us to take a look at. But Nick Anderson, man, right now in my 2026 big board, he is my wide receiver 6 right now. You and I, we both do, we are already have ranks for our 2026 rookies. That's kind of what we do. So I'm really excited about Nick Anderson next year. I hope he stays healthy, but he's that 6'1", 205, 6, 7 pound, boundary receiver that can play in the slot. I'm super excited to watch him at LSU next year.
Yeah, he should have great opportunity. I'm thinking of the other receivers that are there. Aaron Anderson, Barry and Brown just committed. Like those are smaller receivers. Chris Hilton, you talked about. Shelton Sampson, their 5-star, just transferred out. I think he went to the Cajun region. So Nick
Mm-hmm.
Anderson should have a really nice opportunity. I like this call a lot. I'm gonna go with a guy who has that length, just like Nick Anderson does, and that's going to be USC receiver Jacoby Lane. It's not the first time I've talked about him. Had
Yeah.
a huge game against Texas A&M this past weekend with 3 touchdowns. Just really like what he's been able to do. It's been hit or miss with the way the quarterback position has been there at USC. They've been trying to find some identity, but he's been phenomenal, and I love the length. You see the catch radius, you see the extension to the ball. He can contort his body at difficult angles. He's got that speed right off the line of scrimmage. So I think Jacoby Lane is the full package. It's his second year. He had just over 500 yards receiving. So I think in his third year, he could really come on. Him and Mekhi Lemon could complement each other really well. But Jacoby Lane is definitely my guy.
Yeah, man, he has been your guy for a while. And I'll tell you what, the guy just looks really unstoppable.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's hopefully he's got a quarterback who can get him the ball on a regular basis. I want to talk about a player that I think that's been growing on me throughout the year, and that is Matthew Golden. All right, wide receiver from Texas. He is a junior. Played his first 2 seasons at Houston. Transfers to Texas. Everybody was like, "Man, who's going to really emerge out of that Texas? Is it Isaiah Bond? I mean, like, who's the guy that's going to emerge? They got all those incoming, a couple rookies that they were a couple freshmen
Mhm.
rather, but Matthew Golden, man, I'll tell you, I'm sold after watching the Georgia game. That was a thing of beauty, that game. I mean, he is a space creator route runner, right?
Yes, he
6 foot,
is.
195 pounds. He made some boundary catches with the, going up and getting the ball, but he was creating space, vertical, intermediate parts of the field. And he's got that perfect 6 foot frame, 195 pound frame that's not too big, not too small. He's physical enough. He definitely has the physical, check mark on his scouting report. But he is just a great route runner from what I've seen. Now we're going to do some, deep dives into all of these players, in the off season and the summer. But from what I've seen from Matthew Golden, I mean, this guy just looks like an NFL receiver who can play in the boundary and in the slot. Just guy who's going to create space out in the field. And it kind of gives me Jordan Addison type vibes, watching him out there play. So Matthew Golden, I've got him. He is my number fifth. He's my number 5 receiver on my 2026 wide receiver big board.
Yeah, I think it's a great call. Honestly, you stole him from me because he was going to be one of my guys too. So good for you for getting to the show sheet first. But really impressive stuff considering he was able to find a way to elevate himself in a very deep receiver
Yeah.
room there at Texas. So that's a great call. I'm gonna go with a true freshman receiver, 6'3", 209 pounds that just blew my mind this year. And this is the 2027 receiver that Brandon was talking about. That is Nick Marsh of Michigan State. Every time I watched this kid, I just got blown away. There was not a throw in which he had to contort himself to make a catch that was too difficult for him. Easy separator at this size. The ball skills are phenomenal. He had one catch, I can't remember the game, where it was in the end zone. Both toes are right inside the line. So great awareness of where he is, on the field, but in the end zone, and he's literally leaning over the line with the ball in his hands, making a catch with both feet in. So already thinking about that NFL ready type of competition and how he needs to manage that toe tap ability. Very impressive stuff. Love this kid, and I think he's going to be a huge riser. And I have him ranked. Where do I have him ranked? As number 7 my overall wide receiver rankings for 2026, 2027. Obviously, I love this kid.
Yeah, you did. You've been pounding the table for him for a while, so
He's
love
so
to
good.
see it. My third and final wide receiver that I want to talk about, I probably stole him from you because you brought him as a, deep dive player probably 2 or 3
Oh, yeah.
months ago. Mr. Jordan Tyson, Arizona State Sun Devil wide receiver. Now, unfortunately, he got hurt the last game of the regular season in the second half. Had to require to have surgery on his collarbone. So he's missing out on all the postseason fun that Arizona State is experiencing right now. But, he was 3 years ago, he was a freshman at Colorado, got a knee injury there. So he was redshirted in 2023. But man, he popped this year, right? 6'1", 195 pounds. Again, another, perfect kind of frame size receiver, over 1,100 yards and 10 TDs, really on his first
That's big
healthy
time.
season. I mean, imagine if he hadn't gotten hurt, where he might be.
Right.
He might actually be declaring for the NFL draft right now, but he's had the injury bug, which is a real bummer. Let's hope that that's not something that stays consistent. But you watch this guy. I'm going to be putting out a video on this YouTube channel about him. I cut up one of his films and putting it out there, and I'll tell you what, man, this guy is impressive. And thank you, Jason, for bringing him to our attention a few months ago.
Yeah.
But this kid can
He's fun.
play. He's in my top
Mhm.
5 on my 2026 wide receiver board right now. I think he is going to light it up next year.
Wow. I love him, and you're higher in the rankings than I am. But yeah,
Mhm.
he's a dominant player. And you went 3 for 3. Great call. I'm gonna go with another big type of receiver, and I think it's becoming a theme of mine to try to find these guys. But I'm gonna go with Indiana wide receiver Elijah Sarat, 6'2", 209 pounds. Came away just really impressed. I think a lot of the success Curtis Rourke had is just the confidence he had in Sarat. I mean, just a dominant receiver. When I'm not sure about the speed itself within his route, but the ball skills are absolutely phenomenal. Some over the shoulder catches that he made in the end zone, really impressive stuff. Outside of his frame, just understands how to identify the weaknesses of the defender he's facing and knows how to exploit those. Absolutely dominant above the rim. So really like this kid. He started at St. Francis, moved over to James Madison, then ended up at Indiana this year, and just really just showcased himself. In his 3-year career, he's got 29 touchdowns and just under 3,000 receiving yards. So this kid has been highly productive, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the future.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and again, through after all those transfers, if he sticks now, being a
Yeah,
true senior, doesn't have to learn a new offense, might even be more productive than he was this year. I've not
for sure.
had a lot of eyes on Sarat, so I'm sure we will be taking a look at his film in the offseason. But I guess the moral of the story, Jason, here after these 6 wide receivers is the wide receiver room for 2026, I think, is looking, at least preliminarily, pretty good. I mean, I know there's a
Yeah,
lot of
I agree.
people down on the 2026, overall draft class, but it's like way too early to be that judgmental. But I think if you got 2026, aspirations of getting a wide receiver, I mean, I think the room, guys are going to emerge, but I think so far so good. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the 2026 class in the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's looking pretty
So,
good. And I honestly, there could be guys we're not even talking about or thinking about that could arise next year too.
and I'm sure we will be
I'm
talking about a
sure.
lot more of these kind of
Yeah.
players. So there you guys got it. Those are like our 2026 my guy wide receivers.